One of our favorite sponsors is back with us, Sunset Lake CBD.
Yeah.
If you're looking for CBD that actually does what CBD is supposed to do, look no further than our friends over at Sunset Lake.
Let me break it down.
Break it down, Mel.
They're sustainably farmed, meaning they avoid pesticides and use sustainable farming practices to preserve the land for future generations. 1. 2, farm to table. They ship the CBD products straight from their door in Vermont directly to your door wherever you're at.
Now that's cool.
And third party tested. They test everything with a third party to ensure quality, dosage, and safety.
You got to go over and check out sunsetlakecbd.com. They have so many products. Break it down for them, Apple.
Well, they've got some new stuff going on. Like they always had pre-rolls, but now they got really cool packaging for it. And you can get CBD pre-roll flights of all their flavors. You can get the heavy hitter flight that also throws in some of their Keef blunts. They have a new CBD recovery body lotion.
I'm excited about that.
Mm-hmm.
And what was the other?
The other one with arnica.
The extra strength muscle rub, 3,000 milligram with 5% lidocaine.
So look,
Oh, yeah,
if you're
lidocaine.
sore, this is the stuff you want to rub on your body to make those aches and pains go away. They even have CBD infused coffee, so you can have coffee without the little jitter that you get from caffeine, and you have it in the morning and you start your day off right. Your body feels lubricated. You're going to sleep good.
Yeah, and also they have, if you kind of forget to reorder, they've got subscriptions.
And they're giving the No Simple Road family 20% off.
20% off.
Put
with
in the promo code NSR20 when you're checking out at sunsetlakecbd.com. You're going to get 20% off your entire order.
NSR20.
And don't forget those cute little gummy bears.
That's right. sunsetlakecbd.com, one of our favorite sponsors, is back.
Wash your hands and stay away from me, my friend. But the news is saying that we might have already had it. Well, I don't want to get it again. Wrap your face in a germ-free Lysol rag. But I heard disinfectant might work through an injection. Your theory's like colostomy bags. Quarantine's a little better with some pork and beans. But I miss my friends and I'm getting kinda lonely. That's why you got the pork and beans. Oh, there's tension when kids gotta be homeschooled by parents who used to get suspensions for driving their cars into the pool. Don't be mad, your mom and dad used to rule. They used to run that school. These days handshakes look like a Cinemax flick. Hi, my name's yada yada, it's so nice to meet you. The old kill me with the kindness trick. Oh, we can find peace and find a little rest. Doctors, nurses, and hospital workers are the best. Compared to those people, I'm probably the worst. I'm the last person you would ever want responding first.
Hey, y'all. The
What's
global.
up?
What's happening, man?
What's happening? I'm going to tell you guys about a little something here.
Cool.
The global health crisis we're facing right now has threatened the livelihood and mental health of countless musicians. Backline is the music industry's mental health and wellness resource hub.
That's right.
And their work is more vital than ever right now.
Yeah, it is.
And so it was launched in 2019. Backline aims to give artists, crew, and their families quick and easy access to mental health and wellness resources. Backline is currently hosting virtual support groups as well as yoga, meditation, and breathwork sessions.
That's cool because that's stuff you can do now, right now.
Yeah, and focus on and stay calm. And so Osiris and No Simple Road are proud to partner with Backline right now. So to donate, learn more, or get in touch for personalized care, what you do is you go visit backline.care, BACKLINE.CARE. Check it out. Donate, participate.
Now is not the time to overpay for razors at the drugstore. Harry's knows sometimes it's better to stay inside. That's why they ship directly to you, so you can experience the quality of a Harry's shave in just a few days from the convenience of your own home. I even shave my nether regions. Do you? Join the 10 million who have tried Harry's. To claim your special offer, go to harrys.com/NSR. Harry's is a return to the essential. Quality, durable blades at a fair price, just $2 a blade. They cut out the middleman, manufacturing blades in their German blade factory that's been honing precision blades for a century. Which means you get incredibly high quality blades at factory direct prices. Harry's is super convenient. Blade refills are delivered directly to your door on your schedule, with or without a subscription. And you can feel good about your purchase. 100% quality guarantee. If you don't love your shave, let them know and they'll give you a full refund. 1% of the proceeds are set aside for non-profit organizations that are devoted to helping provide access to better health care for men and veterans. Listeners of this show can redeem their Harry's trial set at harrys.com/NSR. And guess what you're going to get? You're going to get a weighted ergonomic handle for a firm grip, a 5-blade razor with a lubricating strip and trimmer blade, rich lathering shave gel with aloe to keep your skin hydrated, and a travel blade cover to keep your razor dry and easy to grab on the go. Go to harrys.com/NSR to start shaving better today. It's only $3, man. Go ahead, do it.
Shop Tour Bus.
Shop Tour Bus.
Shop Tour Bus.
Shop Tour Bus.
Head over to shoptourbus.com online or at Shop Tour Bus on Instagram and pick yourself up one of those Grateful Dead inspired t-shirts like
Hoodies.
Standing on the Moon or any of the other stuff.
Baby
that they have.
onesies.
Some of that stuff, you can get that stuff over there. You can get stickers, you can get fun stuff. You're even going to get a box that's hand designed,
Bootleg.
one of a kind. It's going to have a Grateful Dead lyric on the inside and
A bootleg.
A bootleg.
a bootleg. It's gonna come here. It's gonna come all the way to your house, free of charge, no shipping, because you're gonna put in the promo code No Simple Road when you check out. You're gonna get so much in that little box. There's gonna be candy and all kinds of fun stuff in there.
Gewgaws, knickknacks, doohickeys, whatchamacallits.
And
including
whatnots.
personalized message for you or sweet lyric from the inside. So
And this box you will continue to use.
Forever and ever, like a perpetually infinite space that you can throw things into, like
It'll be-
Hermione's bag from
yeah.
Harry Potter.
Magic box.
Yeah.
immediately recycled.
Go to shoptourbus.com online or at shoptourbus on Instagram and get
More than you bargained for.
More than you bargained for. More than you bargained for. Why not? No. Hey, No Simple Road is also brought to you by
Define Premium Cannabis.
Cannabis.
Whoop-de-whoop.
Cannabis.
Head over to Define in Forest Grove or Hillsboro and ask for Apple out in Hillsboro Monday through Friday. He's going to sell you the finest premium cannabis products known to mankind.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I will. I
You
will
will.
come out. I will float out of the doors
No,
on a
you-
steed
no,
through the misty
Okay,
Avalon.
this is where if I knew how to play the bass, I'd be playing like the Shaft, like
Apple
that.
will
You know that
come out of the
frickin'-
back room wearing an entire suit of armor from the 15th century, dressed like a Templar knight, and knight you, and you too will become a knight of cannabis, and you will be happy.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. So come on out to Hillsboro or Forest Grove if you're in the area. We will take care of whatever you need: your topicals, edibles, dabbables, vapables, flourables, all those things. And we will get you educated. If a lot of people come in and are timid, and we will get you educated, send you out with a smile, so you can take care of your mind, your body, and your soul.
And all joking aside, man, if you're part of the No Simple Road family and you live in the Portland area and you haven't visited Define yet and gone out to see Apple, you really should, man. I know we're joking around, we're being silly with the commercials, but Define is a partner of No Simple Road, and the reason that they're a partner in No Simple Road is because we believe in the mission that they're doing.
Absolutely.
And they're giving people good medicine, and right now, medicine is needed more than ever for our minds and our bodies, you guys. So go
Yeah.
out to Define in Hillsboro or Forest Grove and take care of yourself.
And mention that you listen to No Simple Road. You will get a 10% off of your purchase. You will get a free t-shirt, and you will leave feeling better in these times.
You'll leave stoned, clothed.
No, you
and
won't.
happy.
No, you won't leave Stone.
Oh, you won't leave stoned. I take that back.
You'll leave to get stoned.
Yep. And you'll be happy.
We're so excited to tell you a bit about today's sponsor, Music Masters Collective. They are a nonprofit organization that produces unique music events, providing opportunities for fans and artists to meet and collaborate in an inspired and creative atmosphere.
Music Masters Collective events give you the opportunity to learn from world-class musicians like Otil Burbridge, Steve Earle, Richard Thompson, former members of the band, the Milk Carton Kids, Nikki Glaspie, the Fab Four, and Sean Colvin, and so many more.
At an event like the Milk Carton Kids Sad Song Summer Camp happening this July, you can expect immersive classes, evenings of entertainment, excellent food, and a space for a lucky group of folks to learn, co-write, workshop, and perform with like-minded peers, all with the guidance of Kenneth Pattengale, Joey Ryan, and some of their favorite songwriters. This all-inclusive week in the Catskill Mountains of upstate New York is guaranteed to be magical. Scholarships are available and spots are extremely limited, so visit www.sadsongssummercamp.com/simple to learn more. That's www.sadsongssummercamp.com/simple. Check it out.
Hey everyone, Chris Pandolfi from the infamous String Dusters here to let you know that my podcast, Inside the Musician's Brain, is back on the airwaves for Season 4, which means it's time once again to get deep with influential musicians from all across the musical landscape to really understand and translate the lessons of success, failure, inspiration, and hard work that are behind the music and the artists that we love. My guests this season include Rachel Price from Lake Street Dives, Sam Bush, Chris Wood, Chris Funk from The Decemberists, Lindsay Liu, MC Taylor from His Golden Messenger, and more. Check us out, and thanks for listening.
No simple road. No simple road. No simple road. No simple road.
This is John Barber, singer and lead guitarist for the Disco Biscuits, speaking to you about the Touchdowns All Day with John Barber podcast on the Osiris Podcast Network. On our podcast, we listen to Disco Biscuits music. We listen to a lot of other kinds of music. We listen to a lot of improv music. And I discuss what it takes, the clutch decisions that make epic jams. Use the hashtag Touchdowns All Day on all social media networks. Thank you so much for listening. We love you so very much.
Touchdowns All Day is not responsible for any cankles, head wounds, K-holes, cross-species insemination, loss of hearing, vision, or appetite. Do not delay seeking medical or professional attention because of something you heard on this podcast. Touchdowns All Day is not a substitute for a normal, entertaining podcast. Please use hashtag Touchdowns All Day responsibly. In the event of a medical emergency, call 911.
The countdown is my favorite. Nobody pays attention. Everybody immediately starts zoning out, and
We don't start zoning out.
Paying attention.
Yeah,
Did you do the count yet?
What? Hey now, No
Are we
Simple Road
recording?
family. Welcome back. How you guys doing this week? We are back with something special. So this week's guest is RJB from the Helping Friendly podcast, from the Drop, from Osiris Media, from our life, and I can't believe it took this long for us to figure out to have RJ on the show.
Yeah.
We kind of talked about it before, but this is what needed to happen, because when we talked, like, there was this stuff in the works, you know what I mean? So now there was something going on with Osiris and with each other. Yeah. It was, I thought it was great.
And I think it kind of got brushed over because we've had many conversations over the last several years with RJ. You communicated with him a whole lot. We've had a lot of talks with the whole family, and it was like, wait.
So if
we could do the show,
if you're under a rock, no, I'm just kidding. Then
you're Patrick from SpongeBob.
Totally. If you don't know who RJ is, he is one of the hosts of the Helping Friendly podcast, and RJ and Jonathan from Broke Down Podcast are the reason that we are a part of Osiris Media. RJ and Jonathan believed in No Simple Road super early on.
Yeah.
And brought us in and helped us get better and have been like family to the show and to us personally. And it was super cool to have RJ on, man. It's one of those instances. I mean, we always connect with the people that we're interviewing because it's just how we do the show and what we do. But meeting RJ or seeing RJ on Zoom and then talking to him, it feels like we've been hanging out for years and years. Like it's meeting a part of the family.
Even though he hasn't made it back out, and that was supposed to happen, which is postponed, him physically coming out here and stuff. But it seems like we have physically met him and given him a hug and stuff already.
I enjoyed having him on and looking in his eyes and talking real time and the kids and just the whole situation. It was like hanging out at the house with them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Everybody had a drink. We had like, get your coffee. He had a beer. I had water. It was cute. It was super fun and long overdue.
Yeah, if you're into it, this episode is up on our YouTube page. So if you want to watch the video of the conversation, you are more than welcome to go to the No Simple Road YouTube page and subscribe and all that fun stuff and check out the video. Since quarantine happened, we are slowly but surely, like the rest of the population of the planet, becoming Zoomians and zooming more.
Zoom.
So as these Zooms happen, we can now use that as video content for the YouTube page. So if you haven't already gone over there and subscribed, you should do that now, right now. I mean, right this second. Doesn't matter what you're doing unless you're driving. You should go over and do that. Anyway, there's other stuff going on, though. You know, I'm just saying.
There's lots of things going on.
Lots of things happening right now. There's restrictions being loosened up all over the place. There's controversy happening. There's armed people storming capitals in other states. There's
a possible FDA approved
treatment. There's just craziness happening all over the place.
Speculation.
Yeah, a lot of speculation.
But one of the things that's not happening is live music, and that's a bummer, you guys. This week we got the word finally. I mean, I guess I knew that it was coming.
But you don't believe it. It's one of those things. I'm not going to believe it until it happens, having that little bit of hope you're holding on to.
Yeah.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
I do the same thing. I don't even think about like, oh, it's going to be canceled. I'm like, it's going to happen until it's not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Phish announced that they canceled their tour for the summer.
Found out
And
Jam Cruise
yeah.
Until 2022, man. Like
Sending
the
love
hits
your
keep
way,
on
Annabelle.
coming.
Yeah. That
And
whole crew.
the whole Cloud9 crew. Yes.
Yeah, we love you guys, man. And I get it. I totally get it. I'm with you 100%. And it's just a bitter pill. It is a seriously bitter pill to swallow, knowing that the thought of going an entire year of not having any concert to go to is daunting.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's very hard to handle. I mean, that is a bitter pill. I mean, that's why so many people are eating sweets. Like, seriously.
Yeah, man.
No, I mean, it like joking, but also, I mean, we've been doing a lot more sweets. People are baking at home.
Hella more sweets.
Because, I mean, sweets are comforting no matter what.
It's a dopamine release.
Yeah.
You eat that sugar, man, that dopamine gets
that
released.
Chocolate.
For a minute, you feel good, and then an hour later, you're like, God, why have I been eating so much? I'm going to look
What
like
should
a
I do
manatee.
about it? It's kind of like being at a show like at Set Break. It's like, what should I do about this stomach ache? Eat some more fudge.
Yeah.
Eat some more mushrooms.
Delicious. At the end of the show, you're like, oh,
Holy moly, it was good though.
did I eat all that? Anyway, yeah, it's a bitter pill, man. And like I said, I get it. And when all this started, like, I was like, oh yeah, by summer, there'll be concerts again. And then all the summer shit started getting canceled. And I was like, nah, by fall, no problem. And then some fall shit started getting canceled. And then I was like, wow, the reality of not seeing a show in 2021 after March is a reality. Like, that could happen.
And it sucks. And you were. I quit even saying anything to you. Like a month ago, I'd come home and be like, well, they said, and you'd be like, no, no, I'm not listening to it. It's like, I better just not say anything until we find out what's really going on.
Yeah, when when the word came out that Phish canceled the tour, it wasn't surprising. Like I wasn't like, oh, well, I never. But like, it was like, oh man, another one bites the dust. And at this point, though, I think that the way it'll play out, at least in my head, the way I see it happening is like smaller local shows first, and then slowly building back up to what we're used to.
Smaller local shows, and what makes sense to me too is like, I mean, I'd love to be able to go like to the Goodfoot or Revolution Hall, but that's contained, that's indoor. It makes sense to me, like McMenamin's Edgefield, like the Grove and the venue, like an outdoor venue. It'd be easier. It'd be easier to social distance if you're like a park concert, you know. And you'd be outdoors. I want to see something.
It'd be rad if every time you had a disappointment, you would think about Queen's. Dun dun dun.
Another one bites the dust.
And then it won't be so bad. You know, like.
Hey, we're gonna get you.
No, not gonna get me. I don't want anybody getting.
No, just that first
but
initial
then that
beat.
goes into "We Are the Champions." Is how that
that's
happens
true.
on
Yes.
that album.
See,
so.
that's why.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Abel, for turning it around.
We need to, I brought this up weeks ago, jokingly at the time, half joking, a lot of tongue in cheek today, but I was like, you know what, you guys, we need to be manifesting the reality that we want, and like picturing being at a show together. And so we need to continue to do that, because just giving in to the reality that's being set before us is not where I want to be. And
we got to keep pushing back and putting it out there, keeping it out there.
The mental vibe of it needs to be continued and going out there. I get that this stuff is canceled. You can't make it happen once it's canceled. I understand that. But our vibratory thought patterns can go out into the universe and the collective consciousness, and we can affect change that way. We made it snow here one year for one day. We did. And so I believe that. And so, of course, we have the ability to change the way things are going right now. So I'm just throwing it out there. Just keep the thought in your mind as you go back and you watch the streams and you see the shows that we were all at together last year, early this year. Picture it in the future, man, and we can make it happen, and it will happen. It's not gone, that's for sure.
Oh no,
that's like the one thing I'm holding on to at this point. Like, well, it's like not like it's not ever going to happen again. I've had that discussion with myself in my head over the past couple of weeks. Like, you need to stop it, mister. It's not gone for good. Sit down.
Yeah, it's coming back like we keep talking about. We just talked about it this morning again. It's going to come back so strong. There's so much being made right now.
Don't call it a comeback. I've been here for years.
And that's why we love you, Mel. So, yeah.
There's a lot of energy being built up right now. Everybody's batteries overfloweth with creativity, all the writing, the musicianship, everything that everybody's doing. It's just going to... It's going to be hard to contain.
Yeah, well,
it's hard to contain a Dead show or something right now. Imagine when it comes back, all because we're all pranksters and stuff.
Oh, shit.
Like security trying to wrangle the cats at the first shows.
No, because all the cats are going to be out of their minds.
You guys need to be this and that. Oh, I am wearing a mask.
Mel started a thing because her battery was overflowing this morning.
Because I had good sleep. I juiced. I had a croissant with almond paste in it.
Yeah, you did, and I did too. But she did a quarantine boogie this morning, and we posted it up on our Instagram. And
well, see, first of all, I was just doing my thing, and then Aaron's behind me, like he was looking something up for real. And then next thing you know, he's like, "Oh yeah, you're posted." So I was like in the privacy of my own home.
Yeah, I was filming.
Loose,
it's better if you don't know what's happening.
Down.
You were not performing.
No,
that was straight. That was soul.
I was feeling.
Yeah, he does that. Eric
pigeons
catches Melanie like that many times. You all have seen.
Yeah, you gotta catch the soul.
But you know, like
moment.
somebody, you can feel like somebody like looking at you, but I'm still busting my groove though. I'm not gonna.
Not opening my eyes and not letting you harsh my gig.
Yeah.
So I posted it up, and then slowly but surely, other members of the No Simple Road families start sending in their quarantine boogie. So go ahead and film yourself doing a quarantine boogie, and post it up on your story on Instagram and hashtag No Simple Road when you do it. And we'll have fun watching each other dance and watching our batteries overflow, man. Because you know what? Like Apple said, if your battery's full, you got to do something with the charge in there.
With
Yeah,
the juice.
let it out. Send it out into the
Google.
world.
Yeah, get it out there and picture us as you're grooving in your kitchen or in your basement or in your front porch or wherever the hell you're at. Picture yourself dancing at a show in the late summer. Let's start there. Late summer and mid-July, end of July. We'll go.
Or do like
we'll go
Mel,
with
throw
that.
on pigeons or whatever your favorite funk
Yeah.
crew. Do that. Whatever your favorite funk is, throw that in the background. Let's hear that.
Yeah.
Funkify it.
And make sure you hashtag No Simple Road. And that, you know what? That leads us to the business. We're gonna cut it short. We're gonna get you to the episode here in
Did
just
we
a second.
even say who we're having on?
Yeah, we talked.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
So we were
Until we were
blue
blue in the
face.
face.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Have
Listen,
smoke another bowl, Mel.
it's my day off.
You're
Yes.
allowed. That's why I said smoke another bowl, Mel. Anyway, follow us on Instagram at No Simple Road. Follow us on Facebook at No Simple Road. Go to www.nosimpleroad.com and you too can get yourself a No Simple Road t-shirt. They are up there on the gear tab.
And hoodies.
And hoodies.
I love my hoodie.
And
It's
stickers.
so soft.
It's not really hoodie weather anymore, but you
Well,
can
it
still
is
get
here.
It's true.
Yeah, a lot of places aren't, but it is here.
And we've been getting some really wonderful stuff, man. We just got a letter through the website. If you go there and you want to get in touch with us, there's a contact form there, and you can send us a letter like this. This is from Wesley H. And the subject is thank you guys. Well, you're welcome, Wes. Thank you for being so positive in this madness. I have enjoyed your bedtime stories. I'm an old teacher who was given the joyful job to read recorded bedtime stories for our school's second graders. My white beard is a familiar face for kids locked down during the pandemic.
Aw.
You've helped me to use more quips when reading, though I'd love to add oh shit or what the fuck. But I'm barely hanging on to a job here in Texas. Speaking of Texas, Apple, could you do a piece on CBD? What to look for? What is good for old goats with COPD? Peace to you,
absolutely.
Wesley.
Wesley, thank you.
Wow, that
Thank
is
you.
awesome.
Yeah, I will do that. I will do well. By the time you hear this, I may have done it tonight, or it'll happen this week. I'll talk about CBD.
Right on.
I'm starting to get more questions. I like that because I'm not sure what to talk about, and
I wonder.
You're not
your
sure what to
question.
talk about when it comes to
They're-
weed?
Well, like what people would be interested in. Some people don't want to know about dabs. You know, they don't dab or something. But yeah, just keep hitting me with questions. I will talk about CBD.
I want to know the difference between sativa and indica, and I also want to know what a trichome is. Tell everybody. I know what that is.
Okay,
But there's
yeah, I'll get
questions.
into the one like CBD. He asked about CBD. Now there's companies isolating CBG, which is even more medical. But anyway, I'll go into this on the show. CBG, CBN, CBD. There's a lot to know.
Whoa. All right. Yeah, you could do that. And also, guys, patreon.com/No Simple Road. That is how we keep this show going. And I've said this a bunch. As all these tours gets canceled and all the festivals get canceled, we are getting canceled right along with all that
We're
stuff.
canceled.
Yeah.
We are getting canceled left and right. And that is how we keep afloat. So we need your assistance, you guys. Listen, patreon.com/No Simple Road. You can give as little as $1.
How about what Tara Lee became a Chan donator?
Tara Lee
cute
is a badass.
dollars
Yes.
and an auspicious number as well.
She signed up for
So
$1.
Thank you,
and
badass sister, for
11
rocking
cents.
it.
Yep.
Thank you.
Tara Lee,
That's-
we speak your name.
Yes. Boom.
Ding, ding. Wow, I don't even know. That was like magic.
Yeah,
Tara Lee,
you-
we speak your name. Ding. Whoa. All right. Anyway.
Hold on. I want to read a letter that I got.
Okay.
This is a cute, just short paragraph. Hey there, spiritual mama. I was thinking about you guys and how I feel like I miss you all without even meeting any of you. It's been a little rough time recently for a lot of people. Thankfully, people like you are helping feed our hearts through all of this thing called life. I guess what I'm trying to say is it's so fucking cool that people you've never met can change your life and be part of you. Much love to all you cuties.
Oh,
Who sent that?
Well, I won't say because
The first
she'll
name?
know. They'll they'll know who said this.
who said? Okay.
But you know who you are.
That's from
Well, because I don't know if people like that
No,
or
that's
not, and so
why-
I always just caution on the side that they don't, and if they want me to, then I'll
That's from
shout it
Cindy. It's 624
Yeah.
Oak Street.
But
That's why I never use the last name. I just say
out. That was
last
when I was
age.
having my really bad
Judy.
day last week, and I got
Aw.
that like in the
Came in an apropos moment.
So one last thing. Before we get to the episode, I just want to say something to you guys. I know it's been tough. I know that everybody's going through it right now. We're going through it right along with you guys.
Yep.
One of the things that's helped me get through this, and I want to remind all of you guys too, is about the community. Without this community, this whole thing would have been so much more difficult. And I'm talking about the entire musical community that we're a part of, not just the Dead community, not the Phish fans, all of us together. It's a really beautiful thing to see the way that all of us have reached out to each other, are communicating more, are getting closer, are sharing funny shit with each other to keep each other's spirits up. And it means a lot, man. It really goes to show when this very, very first started, I did a couple of minutes out on the porch talking about how community was the thing that was going to get us through all this. And I was, at the time, I was like, I'm really curious to see how we navigate the next few weeks. Well, those next few weeks have come and gone. And I'm super proud to be a part of this and to have a voice in this community with you guys. And to know that, like, you guys out there need us and as much as we need you.
Oh, somebody said that we were stable in
Yeah.
the community, and that was really sweet, and I felt that.
Yeah. So I just want to remind you guys that we really are all in this together. It's been like a trite kind of saying at this point, but if you think about it, it really is true. And we need you guys, not Patreon, not DMs, not just you guys, your energy, your love. And that's where we're coming from, is a place of love and community and respect and togetherness and having fun and being joyful. And we just want you guys to know that we're here for you and we appreciate you and we see you, man, and we feel you. So I just wanted to throw that out there before we get to the interview.
That was very sweet.
Yeah.
Very sweet and heartfelt. I know you almost made me tear up a little. I just sit here and listen.
Anyway.
It's awesome. We love all you listeners. And yeah,
It's
keep
true.
listening. It keeps us, especially right now. We're having so much fun. We've been talking about it. We're having so much fun doing this. We always have and always do, but this is
Because this is
this
an
is like
emotional
our-
part that we
yeah.
get to continue, and we're all quarantined, and it allows us to
our
touch
gather.
Yeah,
This is our gathering.
This is our
right
gathering.
now.
Yes,
And not that it wasn't real before, but
meeting
like
of the hearts. I feel like
shit got real. Everything got really real.
Yeah.
And the things that weren't kind of just disappeared, and the things that were real came into really sharp focus. And this show and you guys out there are one of the things that came into really sharp focus for me. So I appreciate you, man. I love you guys. And we're going to get you to the interview with RJ. So without further ado, the No Simple Road crew gives you RJB. Hey, I think RJ's here. Admit. I admitted him. You have been admitted.
You were 1 minute
RJ
late.
has been admitted. Can you hear me, RJ?
Hey,
You can hear me?
I can hear you. I can see all you guys.
Holy
There's
shit,
RJ.
it worked. Here, let me move the computer. Hang on a second.
Uh-oh. Stand by for technical
Hey, guys.
difficulties.
what's going on, RJ?
Oh, man. I just, everyone's about to eat dinner. The kids are about to eat dinner, and I'm not in charge right now. It's fucking awesome.
That answers that question. I was going to say, well, you want us to let you go eat? And it
Yeah, no,
doesn't
no,
sound,
no.
It sounds like you're enjoying
No.
the break.
All awesome. Hold on one sec. Let me try to figure this out.
Oh, I can. Okay, there we go. Yeah.
Hey.
Sweet.
Dude, you're sitting on our dining room table.
I need to scoot this.
Do
I
it.
tried to connect my Zoom as an audio interface to this microphone to the computer. Can you guys hear me? Does it sound like I'm using a microphone?
Yeah,
Yeah,
totally.
good.
Sounds great.
Good.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
My USB ports are kind of shitty, so like if it starts to crackle or something, just tell me and I'll unplug it.
Okay.
Are you guys opting for not the porch today?
Yeah.
Well, you know what? There's really no good reason other than
We're lazy.
technical difficulty, like figuring it out so that we can all see you with our mics. It's
I see.
just how the setup, and it's been set up like this. I think since the
we've been doing this
quarantine.
for a while.
Yeah.
Okay.
And for me right now too, there's
I'm
there's
staring at-
pollen all over everything, and if I'm out there very long, I start sneezing.
Serious
and-
allergies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
so I
looks
guess
good. It
more
looks
for-
nice and comfortable in there.
It is,
Yeah,
and
it's cool.
well, I'm gonna turn it so you can see the porch because we're facing the porch. Watch.
Okay.
No, that
I just
won't-
want to see
that
the
won't
porch
do
one time.
anything. That won't.
No,
won't
you
do
can- that won't
anything.
do shit.
The camera, so
are
don't
you
mess with
doing?
the camera. We'll show you towards
Guys,
the end.
see, that's why
Never
I'm not
mind.
in charge of this kind of stuff.
it took Aaron.
I will entrust you guys that there's
Yeah.
a porch.
Well, we'll show you the porch towards the end here because we
All
have
right.
to move the camera.
Okay.
It's
Are
like
you guys drinking coffee?
I am.
I have water.
I'm
right
drinking
here.
iced tea as I always do.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Well, I'm gonna open a beer if that's cool with you
Yeah,
guys.
please.
It's like it's nighttime over here.
It's so
It's
weird.
it's after work too, but I'm need hydration.
Yeah.
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 Coffee is 90 whatever % water.
It
It's
like
the same thing.
drinking coffee makes me feel like my mouth looks like Yoda. Like totally shriveled up, and
I was gonna say that makes sense. That was a good
yes,
visual.
and so I don't want to feel like that right now.
Dry it
Do you
is.
guys sometimes drink alcohol?
Yeah,
They do.
yeah.
Well,
You don't, Aaron.
You just
No.
took all
I'm
these
sorry.
gulps
I had
yesterday.
3 sips of wine yesterday. And I
and
drank
you
alcohol.
had the
You're-
peach.
Aaron's the cheapest date in the world. Mel's about the second
Yeah.
cheapest right behind him. Me and Ryder drink quite a bit. Vodka. This week we've had vodka, wine, beer.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure just because I know there's some recovery happening, and I know everyone treats that differently.
yeah.
Not with alcohol with any of us, but
Yeah.
with me, I'll just do if we're all gonna have fun. Yeah, I want to have fun too.
Yeah.
But mostly I'll choose not to because I don't like how alcohol makes my face look.
Interesting.
Like
Yeah.
it starts to melt.
I
and-
guess I'm too vain to deal with the dehydration that it takes.
I don't like how it makes my head feel in the morning.
In the
Yeah.
morning.
Yeah,
like,
that-
well, all highs are not created equal, right? And
No.
so alcohol gives you a kind of a high, but it's a low high. And so it makes me feel heavy and fun and flirty and sexy and all that. But then it's like I don't know, just later
get
the
that.
next day, it's like, ugh, it
Yeah,
wasn't worth
That's
it.
called a hangover.
Well, not even, no, it's not. I don't drink that much. You know me.
Yeah.
You know me.
I says she usually has a problem the evening of.
Yeah.
Because she doesn't drink a lot, and then when she drinks, she's like, woo, party. Like
Yeah.
2 weeks ago, she drank a whole bottle of champagne to herself, and champagne,
yeah.
when you don't drink, she wasn't doing the greatest.
That was a
there.
fun
No.
day, though.
But she was a blast.
It's always
for a
fun at the
couple
time. I
hours.
mean, anything's fun at the time.
True.
You know, that's the whole point.
Totally. And for me, like the whole not drinking thing it doesn't have anything to do with recovery. I just don't like the taste of
Just
it.
don't like it.
And I hate
Yeah.
the way alcohol makes me feel. I hate that high. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, he was never a big fan of alcohol, even when we were younger.
no, I want heroin. Skip
Go
that.
straight for the good stuff.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Forget
Yeah,
it. So, hey, RJ,
Hey.
what's up, man?
Hey,
Finally.
good to see you guys.
It only took us 3 years to finally
I
hang
know.
out.
This
It's
is
so
great,
awesome
though.
to see you guys.
Oh my
Me
god.
too, man. So, quarantine life.
Yeah.
Dang, QL. I'm gonna get that tattooed on my lower left side.
Is it like a teardrop thing? Like, if
Exactly.
you kill someone, but it's like you've survived.
And it's gonna have like the Oakland Raiders font like coming down like that
She's
thing.
thought
the
this
QL.
out, I guess.
I have.
Or call her post Maloney.
Post Melanie.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. I mean, what's interesting to me is it's all everyone's situation is almost the same, but everyone's situation is just like a little bit different, right? Like we're all stuck at home. We're all feeling the effects in some way, economically, socially, emotionally. And then like I got a bunch of crazy shit happen in the past couple of weeks, but I keep reminding myself that like literally everyone's going through it, but just in like slightly different ways,
What kind of crazy shit?
Well, we're like in the middle of moving. So right now you see this 70s like wall behind me. We're at my wife's family's beach house in Stone Harbor, New Jersey.
Right on.
Because our house is on the market in DC because we're moving to Philly. and like nothing's like selling, and so we're not buying. So everything's like very much in limbo. Which is just, but again, it's like, whatever, we have a place to live.
It's very appropriate for the time.
Yeah, exactly. It's all like very much in limbo. My mom today got sent, my mom lives in a nursing home. She had a stroke like 8 years ago, and she was in the ICU with the coronavirus for 2 weeks, which like someone who had a stroke who's in the ICU with coronavirus, you're not supposed to like recover. And she recovered and now is going back to her nursing home today, which is really cool.
Mom,
really cool.
Right on.
But also like kind of threw everything I knew about this thing on its head, because I was like, wait, that's not what's supposed to happen. So like that kind of stuff is intense, but like I'm sure that all three of you have your own intense shit that's happening, because it's just like everything becomes more intense in a situation like this.
Very, very much so. I think emotionally has been the biggest part of it. It's been an emotional, weird thing. And like you said, for everybody in their own unique way. It's a trip. Like Mel and Apple are still going to work, and now I'm working from home, and it's just different perspectives of the pressure of quarantine and what we're all dealing with. It's a trip, dude. I think nothing.
So, I mean, going out in public, like I went to the grocery store yesterday, it was fucking terrifying. Like I can't imagine going to work every day. I feel like you'd come home exhausted just from like thinking about what possibly could happen while you're out.
Me and Melanie have talked about that several times, because we go out and it's even if you're prepared for it, you feel everybody's on a different frequency. Everybody's weirded out. Everybody's paranoid of each other. And we both work places where there's high volumes of people.
Yes.
I'm working way more hours than I usually do, because everybody wants their cannabis in these times.
Yeah.
Define cannabis.
That's right. Premium cannabis.
I thought you were asking me to define it like a dictionary.
No.
Like,
it is a plant that gets one.
Oh my god. Yeah, but
I wish I had memorized the street address, because that would have been awesome if I could like gone into that.
One in Hillsborough and one in Forest Grove.
It is weird though. It's weird to go out there. Mel, are you feeling that too?
It's absolutely, because I work in a store that is super high volume, like Apple said, and we have like strict guidelines now. They ask us about our health. They give us a wellness check, and they're serious. You have to, the people that you were like more than cordial with, like joking and fun, now have to be like, no, like, have you had these symptoms? Have you come into contact with anybody with corona? Have you had people come that traveled, all this stuff, and so it makes you have to kind of like be on alert now at work, where before it was such a relaxed environment, super fun. People love to come there. They get their coffee and hang out. Now it's like in, out, in, out,
get your food and
out.
get the fuck out.
And there's still personality and stuff like that. I can't say that we ever lose that, but we're affected. So when I come home, and I come home to Aaron, and he's like been home all day, and he's going stir crazy, and he's frustrated. Like that is like another, like I have to face it again, So I'm dealing with it really in a unique way, because I try to stay positive, because most of the time I really feel that way. Like I feel like that, but this is really like neutralizing me, like because it's taking more energy than I can, give, and so it's like bringing me to a neutral with almost like not emotion.
And like for me, man, like you might have had this experience. Well, you did. You got up and you went to an office for a long time. You did that. You know what I mean? And so all of a sudden working from home and not leaving the house, especially after festival after festival and show after show, and being so connected in the community here and doing all the stuff that we did, and then it's stopped. And it's like a shock to the system. And we were talking about it with Terrelay Weathers yesterday. It's almost like a grieving process.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways. Like I was super depressed when this first started, and then like going through all the stages, got really angry and was like, this can't happen, like the whole thing. And then I realized a few days ago, I was like, holy shit, this is grief. that I'm feeling. Like I'm dealing with it. So yeah, man, it's nuts. And I can't imagine, like, for you have 3 little ones, dude.
Yeah.
But
they're
that
really
probably keeps you
small.
distracted, huh?
They do. They certainly distract for sure. They distract me from everything at all times. No, it's interesting. I feel really like, there's like the few people that I see just judging from Twitter or whatever. It's like, there are a few people who are like, I'm kind of bored and look at, I did like 3 puzzles yesterday. And it's like, that seems cool, And then there's like our friends who are married, but don't have kids. So it's like they have companionship and they can do what they want, but they're not like, it's really hard to get into a room for 5 minutes and do something quietly, with a bunch of little kids, but they have no idea what's going on. This is just normal life. We just happen to be on a very long vacation. So that is really kind of cool.
That's actually cute. That's cool, man.
Yeah.
It's like a good memory for them.
Yeah, I think
How
it will be. And to have us around all the time,
Yeah.
no childcare, no school. So
Right now, we've said that
Wow.
several people we've talked to, that keeps coming up. It's like right now, kids and pets are loving it.
Stoked.
They're
Yeah.
they're stoked. They don't understand what's going on. They're just happy their people are around constantly.
exactly.
Coming from that perspective, like all the time that you're forced to give each other, I fucking love it. I love what's happening. Like, you're really forced to hang out with your partner for more than an evening.
Yeah.
More than a couple hours in the midday on a weekend. Like,
Yeah.
you are forced to spend time with them and reacquaint yourselves with each other, and you have no choice.
Well, some people are finding out that ain't where they want to be, man.
But some
Right,
people are
right.
finding out other shit
Unfortunately,
too. Like, I think it's good. We need to just face whatever we're holding in our homes and in our like body homes also.
Yeah, totally.
I think it's interesting, like that part of it. I feel grateful to like wake up to kids, even though sometimes it's like, oh my God, the same thing every day. It's Groundhog Day for everyone, but
Yeah.
with 3 young kids that are constant, like basically for, 15 hours a day, they're just asking for things and complaining and fighting and whining. But I talked earlier today with Chris Pandolfi and Bob Crawford for this charity thing. And I was interviewing them about their music and what how their music has changed. And I was thinking every single person is going through that same process that you're describing, Aaron, like the grieving process, and like what Chris and Bob were describing on a musical level is sort of what happened to me on a work and life level. Like for 2 weeks, I couldn't really do anything. And then like week 3 and week 4, things started to kind of seem like I could adapt. And then like week 5 was like, okay, this is working. But thinking about like people who are like musicians, actors, painters, people who like live vastly different lives, and we're all going through this together. So that gives me some like hope that something cool will come out of it. Maybe we'll all have more empathy or have a little bit more appreciation for other people,
Yeah, I've been saying that, like, not just for me personally. Those first few shows that we go to after this, when we can finally go to a show again, it not only will the audience have a renewed appreciation for the chance to do that, but the bands are going to feel that on a different level too. Like, wow, we get to do this thing again for these people.
It's gonna be so high energy.
Totally. And it's going to be a totally different world, none of us know, but I've been pretty successful actually at taking it like day by day.
That's
Like,
that's,
every
I need to
day
take
is
a
like
page
its
from
own
that
thing.
book.
Because if you think too far ahead and you start to
Yes.
think like what's going to happen in 6 months or a year or 2 months, whatever, like it's overwhelming.
Yeah, nobody knows.
That's
Nobody
what Apple
knows
keeps
anything.
saying. Apple's like,
Yeah.
nobody fucking knows.
Nobody knows what's going to happen in an hour. For all of a sudden, there could be some huge announcement or something, and nobody knows
Yeah.
it. And with the 24-hour news, they're forced to just continuously report on bullshit, on nothing, and speculate. Well, let's
100%.
go to Joe Blow and see what his opinion is,
Yeah.
who has no qualifications for anything.
Well, you see, Larry.
Well, the weird thing too, I want to ask you, because like we talked to when we talked to Mike Fanoia and stuff. It's a lot different on the East Coast than here. Like we're up to like 1,800 confirmed cases and like 50 something deaths in Oregon. And then we talked to Mike, whose wife is working in ICU,
Yeah.
and he's afraid for her. And then what you just said with your grandmother,
No, that was his mom.
or your mom. We
Yeah.
we don't know anybody firsthand over here that has gotten it. It's just through word of mouth, and so far it's been East Coast. So
Yeah.
it's been hard for us. At first, it was hard for us to take it seriously. We were kind of like on that conspiracy theory edge and not knowing, and now it's like, okay, this is real.
It's real.
You know, in some way at least, this is real because people we trust and talk to, like you, we're hearing firsthand accounts now.
So what's it like back there?
Yeah, it's intense, man. I mean, I was in New York like a week before this all went down. So like immediately, I was at this podcast conference actually, and I got an email. It was like, this guy who was there had got the virus. So just so you know, like he's fine, and he and his wife have it. And I was like, shit, that was like, mid-March. So we were in, I live in DC, or I lived in DC until recently. And so it's all been like, more real. And like, here in New Jersey, we're in like a coastal town. It's sparsely populated, but everyone wears masks. Like to go into the grocery store, liquor store, like you have to wear a mask. You have to like, they're taking it super seriously. And most of my friends who live in New York have left.
Yeah, like
temporarily.
like Christina split.
Christina, I mean, 7 or 8 of my friends who live there are not there because like, it is the epicenter and it's such a densely populated place. The whole East Coast is, way more than where you guys are.
Yeah.
So that makes it a little more intense,
So as far as like Osiris goes, how's everything going? I mean, it seems like we as a network have reacted really positively to this thing. It's like been I hate to say this, but it's been actually good. Like it's made us all adapt and think a little bit differently. Do you feel like that?
Definitely. I think you guys, I'm not just saying this because we're talking, like you guys are the kind of embodiment of what has changed, in that like we change the format, we change the medium, we try to find the audience where they are and give them something useful, whether it's meditation or the vibe check stuff or just regular episodes. So I'm really proud of what we've done. I mean, we're putting out a new show tomorrow, which, is like, we're continuing to put out new original podcasts, but at the same time trying to like, as they would say in the startup world, pivot a tiny bit toward like where people are. And it's interesting. The video stuff, I thought at first was like, everyone's going to be on video. And then it's like, people are listening to fewer podcasts. And then like a week later, it was like, maybe they're not. And like, maybe people don't want video, like
right.
Media changes so quickly that I feel like what I'm proud of is that we're like, I view all of it as experimenting, like,
Yeah.
we'll do a bunch of stuff, see if it works. If it doesn't work, we'll stop doing it. And then we'll do something else, like the live stuff that you guys have done and that we've done, the live event stuff is amazing. And like, now that's off the table. So like that's done for now. So now what else can we do? Right. So you guys have adapted exactly as I have, I think. And I feel like, I mean, the mission of Osiris is to, delight and inform music fans. And so like, I feel like that's so right now is more needed than ever. Right. Like even just bullshitting about music it's a welcome distraction from the world. So I feel like we can fulfill our mission and maybe like learn a few things along the way,
Yeah. And we've never really talked about it, but like we came on right when Osiris had just barely started, like right at the beginning. Yeah. And I've never like asked you how did it start? I've never bothered asking. I didn't care, but now we're doing this and I think people would be interested in that.
Yeah. Well, I have to say thank you to Jonathan Hart, who turned me on to your podcast and who's one of my best friends and has made a lot of cool stuff happen, including this connection. So, I mean, like a lot of things in life, like it just sort of came together at the right time. I mean, I've been doing my podcast on Phish for 7 years this year.
Wow.
And
congratulations. That's
thanks.
awesome.
It's really cool. It's still fun. We still have a good time. Like just bullshitting about Phish. I mean,
Yeah.
people still listen. I don't know. I have no idea why, but
Well,
As long as you
now
listen,
they
we'll
love
keep-
you. That's what it is.
Yeah,
Like
it's
they know you,
personalities.
they love you, they expect to hear your
Yeah.
cool commentary and your thoughts.
I mean,
like,
it's the same thing you guys have, and there's a different feel for every show, and I think that's really cool. And
Yeah.
I want to talk about that more because I do want to talk about the Portland vibe. But so I've been doing this for a long time. I got introduced to Tom Marshall through a friend at a Phish show. He was like, "I'm going to start a podcast. Do you think I should?" And I was like, "Yeah, I mean, yeah, of course. Like, you definitely should." And he was like, "Are you sure you won't be offended?" And I'm like, "Dude, that's crazy. Like, of course you should start a podcast. People would love to hear from you." And then I sent him a follow-up email the next day, I think, and said, like, maybe there's some opportunities to turn this into something bigger if we have a group of music podcasts. Maybe there's a business opportunity, you know? And he immediately responded and was like, "I've been thinking the same thing." And we went down, I mean, there must have been, I don't know, 10 or 15 iterations of what this could be. We were like, we could do podcast education and sort of consulting and help people launch their own shows. And, you know, we looked at a tech angle for music licensing for podcasts. I mean, it went through a lot of early iterations before we were like, actually, what if we just bring a bunch of cool shows together and form a network where we try to pool our, you know, audience and pool our monetization opportunities and that sort of thing. And yeah, it was cool. It you know, I had been in the same job for 8 years and doing the same thing for 20 years. So music, you know, like you guys, like music had always been and still is like my main passion aside from like my
Right.
family, you know.
Yeah.
Depending on the day, one of them is more important than the other, but you know,
That's fair. That's fair.
and we just decided that like let's try, let's like get, you know, 10 podcasts together, launch this network and see what happens. And like my background's in marketing and communications, so to me part of it is like from the beginning the idea was like, let's build a brand, you know, that people when they hear Osiris they'll think music, they'll think like cool conversations, you know. And I think that's like that part of it has been really
Absolutely.
successful.
I think that's
Totally.
I think that definitely shows.
You guys have talked to tons of people out there, right, at shows who like, if people have heard of us, they know exactly what it means.
Totally,
And I think
yeah.
that's that to me is like one of the biggest markers of success, you know, like trying to monetize podcasts is an ongoing, like it's a thing, right? Like we're still trying to figure it out, but
Right.
I think we built a good brand along the way.
Yeah,
So-
I've met people at shows that have never heard No Simple Road that know Osiris. Oh, you guys are on Osiris? Okay, cool. I'll give you guys a listen. So it's like this.
That's really cool.
It's become like a stamp of approval kind of thing.
That's cool. That's cool to hear.
Yeah. It's a trip. And I just think about for you, man, like meeting Tom would be like for me back in the day meeting Hunter.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, it was really weird. I mean, you know, I'm sure you guys believe in some sort of, you know, karma of some kind that like just happens. I mean, I had been, and you know, it's not all about like the transactional part of it, but I had put in like a lot of time into this podcast, you know, obviously not making money, putting in a lot of my time to like deliver something back to Phish fans. You know, that's how like our podcast started. And it's interesting that like the thing that came back was like, you know, getting to know the guy who wrote the lyrics to most of the songs.
right.
And I'm not a huge like lyrical analysis person. Like I wasn't like, oh my God, if I meet Tom Marshall, I'm going to ask him about like song X, Y, and Z,
Right.
you know? And some people are like that. And I've witnessed it. People will come up to him and ask him really smart questions about his lyrics. And I'm like, wow, that's not how I have experienced Phish, you know, but I knew every one of his songs obviously. And was like,
Right.
this is really interesting. And he's the one of the most like down to earth, really chill people I've ever met. And we like immediately became friends, mostly because our personalities are like pretty compatible. Like I'm more type A. I'm a little bit more like, I'm just trying to do shit all the time. And he is like, he's super smart, but also like is very selective about what he puts his energy into. So he will help whatever anytime I ask, you know, and he leads his own stuff. But when I ask him for help, he gives really good advice and input, and otherwise lets me kind of like plow ahead without looking back, which, there are pros and cons to that too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but that's how you find out stuff. That's how you make mistakes, and that's how you learn. And I don't know, you guys have been so awesome with us. Like I said a few minutes ago, we didn't fucking know each other. Like you don't know who we were, you didn't know who we were. And it's been really great, man. It like for me starting No Simple Road and then being part of Osiris, like,
what is a city without its music?
The legacy of the New York Philharmonic is incredible.
Nearly 2 centuries of history. That's a lot of music and a lot of stories.
I was sitting on stage for the very first time thinking, I can't quite believe this is happening.
Join me, Jamie Bernstein, as we explore the history of the New York Philharmonic. It's the NY Phil story made in New York, a podcast about a city, its people, and their orchestra. Listen wherever you get podcasts.
Helped me find my confidence in myself in a lot of ways, and like made me feel legitimate. Like what we were doing wasn't just some fucking stupid fly-by-night thing.
We've always felt like we're part of something bigger and awesome.
And I told you like
beginning
about that, like at the Gorge in 2018, having that experience of like, holy shit, I'm on the inside of this thing. Like,
right.
I'm not just in the crowd. I'm like helping create this thing that's happening right now.
Yeah.
And that was a big deal.
If he just quit yelling at Trey, he was just yelling at Trey like, "No, I am." It was
play any more.
I loved the Gorge Chronicles, man. That was those are some epic stories. I mean, it's interesting because if I had said 5 years ago, I'm going to do this podcast and then I'm going to try to get, some kind of inside track to Phish, and I'm going to try to like, get on the inside of the music industry, like it wouldn't have worked, right?
Yeah, it
like
would never happen. Yep.
And I'd never tried to do that, and now it's like, yeah, exactly. Like I'm backstage at festivals doing interviews, and I'm like, wow, this is it's just like having pure intentions, which of course, like we're all concerned with our own success and advancement and money and all that, but like I just really want to do cool shit for music fans.
No
and
shit.
I think you guys do too.
Yeah.
And so
and enjoy ourselves while doing it.
Have fun, like don't be afraid to like, have fun. I mean,
don't be afraid to have fun. I like that.
Yeah.
The one you guys interviewed MC Taylor, and I think he had just like finished giving his kid a bath.
Yeah.
And you guys called him, and I remember listening to that show, and it was after we had launched, and I was like, this is like, you guys have a unique vibe that I think is not easily recreated. Like I think there's a few shows on our network that are like very vibe focused, and you guys really are one of them. And I think it's a unique interview to walk into, like I do interviews with artists all the time, and I'm like a relationship person, but not a like vibe person. Like you guys create the vibe and invite people in, and people immediately feel it. Like every interview that I've listened to of yours, and you've done hundreds, people walk into the vibe, and it's really cool that you created that, and it's authentic to you guys, right? You're not trying to like create something that will make you look cool, right? Like even though you just happen to look cool while you're doing it.
That
for us, like
the times we tried to, the times Aaron or me in the beginning, there's a few times each of us would write down a few things we wanted to ask, and that totally screwed it up.
Behind the scenes, RJ, I am the worst. Like person.
Mel shows up 10 seconds till the mic comes on with no headphones, this and that.
I'm always the one that's
dropping the camera.
No, I don't see why we should do this. Like, no, I'm not. Then I'm not going to ask any questions. I'm fine. I won't do it. But what it's authentic to me. I can't not be myself. Otherwise I pout, and so I won't take direction from Aaron. I'm not going to take. No, I'll do it how I want. If you want me
not
to,
just Aaron, nobody.
Anybody. And
very surprising.
Imagine that.
But what I think happens is that, like you were talking about the vibe, like when we're all together, it's like there is like a plug that goes on like
Yeah.
between us, right? And so when somebody,
It's like a band.
yeah. And then so when somebody comes in, there's like, what's up? It's like they're sharing our area rug right now. That's how I
Yep.
always feel it. Like they're just like, and it's always ironic that no matter where we set up, there's always an extra chair or several, because it feels like that. Like anybody can just come in
sitting.
and just join us right now. You know, whoever, oh, Simon, come home. You sit down for a minute, listen, go to his room, or Ryder come, oh, hey.
Yeah.
And so we are always inviting. And I feel like that is our vibe, like inviting you in
Yeah.
to
Well,
hear,
well,
inviting you in to
like the
talk,
MC
inviting you in.
The MC Taylor, well, like you said, I don't know how many guests we've had where in the beginning, like within the first few minutes, they're like, you hear their dog, or you hear, or they're like,
Yeah.
oh, dude, my 3-year-old, and we're like, who cares, man? Let him. No, we're gonna
Yeah,
keep recording,
dude.
keep going. Let's be real.
That MC Taylor interview, dude.
I mean, if we're being honest behind the scenes, I thought that was the hardest interview that
I had
I've
the
ever
hardest
done,
time with that.
ever.
That was like,
Well, we didn't
That
know
was
a
my-
whole-
that
we
was
didn't
my
know a whole
combative
lot-
time.
We didn't know a whole lot
Yeah.
about him, and it wasn't necessarily straight up. Or we've since become where we, appreciate him a whole lot more.
Oh my gosh,
But
yeah.
at
Yeah.
the time, it was like, wow, this is somebody that we need to do. You
Yeah.
know, and so, but it came out great.
It was hard.
Aaron
Well, it
really
felt like
doubted
homework.
it, and
It felt-
listening back, it was great.
It felt like it was like the first time I was like, I don't know this. I don't know what to listen
what
to,
to
you know?
ask.
What-
And so I was like, I'm not interested. I go, if we're going to do this show, I need to be interested in it.
Yeah.
I have to, like, okay, fine. I'm not going to be interested in every single thing. But then I learned a lot along the way. I learned how to be interested in anybody. And that's what I learned through
And
the show.
you and her, she learned, like you said a while ago, like I'm always, when Aaron tells me we got an interview coming up, I start immediately researching and listening out on the patio, and so does he. Mel, sometimes, there's been several times she's never even heard one note from the band that and she's
Yep.
done that on purpose. And at first I was like, we can't do that. You can't interview somebody
Yeah.
and be like, I have no idea who you
But I
are. But
feel
it's
like-
worked very well
It's
because
It's a
her-
good mix.
Because
Yeah, it's a
I
different
feel like they're
dynamic.
coming to my porch.
And
So
she
I
wants to
don't
know-
know them. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I want to be like, so what's up with your grandma? That's
yeah,
cute.
What,
Like,
yeah, she wants to know more about their fan. Then she really cracks the shell of like their kids and well, tell us about your wife
'cause
and
that's
how
what
you guys
I'm
met.
interested in.
It's not the questions me and
Yeah.
the two dudes are going to be asking.
Right.
She gets that the mama vibe, grandma vibe.
That's part of the vibe.
going.
but
Yeah.
you know what, RJ, like going deeper with that, like you said, you're backstage at festivals interviewing people, and we've had those moments too. And you kind of step outside yourself for a minute. You're like, holy shit, and then you're back and like, okay, whatever, no biggie. I mean, like you said, if you had tried to do this, never in a million years would it have come off. It just wouldn't happen. The scene that we're a part of doesn't allow that. I don't
Yeah.
think it's just not part of it. It self-regulates the energy of itself with that, weeds that shit out. And I think that what you've done with Osiris, you and Tom, and it really has power behind it. It think about this. I've thought about this with No Simple Road. Like at any time of the day, anywhere on the planet, your voice can be coming out of somebody's speakers without you knowing it. So you're spending time with people all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's somebody out there right now that just got turned on to Phish last year that's going back and listening to back episodes of your show to try and bone up on the scene. And
Totally.
And so it's this like really powerful entity in the music world, and it's rad.
Thanks, man. I appreciate you saying that. I do think the pure intentions is the driver of it. Like,
Yeah.
I come from like the corporate world, and I've done a lot of interviews with people just graduating from college, looking for a job. And they're like, I want to do this for 2 years and then this for 2 years. Like, what's your advice? And I'm like, just like meet good people and take on things that you don't think you can do, because you'll learn something, and just like value relationships and be authentic, like that's the way the world works. I mean, it's in my mind anyway, but you're totally right. I was in Mexico for Phish, which seems like a different lifetime. But
Right.
I was in a bathroom, like in one of the resort bathrooms or whatever, and I was walking out from the bathroom, and I was like, sorry that, like, I said something to the guy who was going in, and he was like, "Are you RJ?" And I was like, "What?" And he was like, I recognize your voice."
What?
Oh,
Like this stuff.
shit.
Which is pretty cool. Like that's like that happens once in a while, and it's like, okay, this
Yeah.
is really cool that, like, yeah, he might have been listening 2 months ago in any part of the United States or the world, and could have just heard our nonsense about Phish, you know, and that's fucking awesome. Like
I've
it's
had-
Yeah.
We've had it with
Well,
like
I've
walking.
had a little sweetheart today sent me a DM with Viola Lee on, like,
Oh.
she's like, "This was your favorite, right?" And I was just like, "What?"
How does somebody know that?
like,
yeah.
and then she writes ... from the pod, you know, and I was like,
Yeah.
that's freaking so sweet that, first of all, that you would remember that from however many episodes ago or whatever.
10,000 years later.
But yeah, like
Wow.
the impact that the ripple that podcasts have, because they're not time specific.
well,
Yeah.
That's the beauty of, like, we made, like, what in the content of our show might be of a specific time,
Right.
but because of the way that it's posted and the way that it lives, it's infinite, kind of.
yeah.
yeah,
It
totally.
lives in the cloud. So think about the impact, not just right now, but going forward, because Osiris is a baby. It's a
Yeah.
baby. It literally does have the potential to be an MTV of sorts.
One of my favorite things that we've heard a few times is when somebody DMs or sends in an email and tell us that they're like, dude, what was that one? It was like, I've binged 70 something
Oh, yeah,
hours in the
Jesus
last
Christ.
like
You're
2
nuts.
weeks or so. To know that we're binge worthy, you know, that's like when I'm really high and have a day to get on Netflix and watch, you
Right.
know, 7 hours of Tiger King or something. And it's like people are they find us that interesting that
Yeah.
you're going to listen to me for more than a couple hours. Like, wow, thank
5
you.
minutes.
I mean, that's what's unique about the medium, you know, in terms of podcasting. I mean, you can. What I was going to say earlier is, like, we have these interesting, like, if I were to do an awards show for Osiris, you know, it's like the best monologues, John Barber's monologues on Touchdowns All Day. Like, he'll go for 12 minutes, just him, and I'm cracking up the entire time.
Right.
Like that's a talent, you know, like I
That
can't
is.
do that.
Oh,
I
yeah.
do a 5-minute daily news podcast, just trying to tell people what to, like, check out. And I'll, like, throw a one-liner in there, and that's it. Like, I can't talk for 12 minutes about nothing and make it funny, you know, like,
Right.
and you guys and Jonathan with Broke Down Podcasts, you guys have such a vibe, you know, it's like, once you start, you feel like you're there, you know? And then there's, like, really, like, Chris Pandolfi does super heady interviews, which are like, he's an intellectual musician, you know, and it's like, it gets deep. And, you know, it's interesting that there's all these little, like, personality quirks that are advantages, because that's the whole point, right? Like, if you were trying to
Yeah.
create a show that fit a mold, like, why do it? Right.
Yeah.
That's why I think what you guys are doing fits in perfectly with Osiris. And I think that every show that we create kind of, like, has its own identity, but also complements the whole, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have to
Yeah.
ask, and I've wondered this, and every time you and I are gonna talk, I'm like, I'm gonna ask him next time we talk. How did you come up with Osiris? Why Osiris?
So Tom started using it as, like, a code name for the project, because it's part of the lyrics from the Phish song Guela Papyrus. This is the work of the Guela
Yeah.
Papyrus, stranded for a moment on the Ocean of Osiris. So that's where it started. And then our designer, Mark, who's done a ton of our art, he came up with, like, the logo, the kind of, like, 4-part, you know, circle. And it was sort of supposed to be a placeholder. And then we went in to meet with one of our advisors, who was a big deal person in the finance world, who's also a huge music fan. And we told him the name, and he was like, that's a really cool name. We're like, all right,
Keeping that one.
Yeah.
Stick with
keep it. Yeah.
It
So
was-
it just stuck.
It rolls off the tongue. Everything.
Yeah, it does.
It was a
Just
trip for me, like, coming from a background in magic and stuff. What Osiris is and what it means and who that is, and
Yeah, and
was
I
like,
learned
this
about
is
it
fucking
after the
perfect.
fact. I learned about that all after the fact. It was like people are like, yeah, you know about Osiris. I'm like, yeah, sure. And I'm like, I better look at this on my phone really quick. But yeah, started off as a code name and then it stuck. And it's, part of it is because it has some Phish, like, sort of legend to it, which is core to our identity, in terms of Tom's background and how we came together. And I think the magic of what Phish does is sort of like creating this environment for people that feels fun and safe and unique. And I think we're trying to create something similar while also like moving beyond it. That's why I was excited for you guys to join. Cause like, it's a totally different thing what you're doing. And that's exactly what we need,
Yeah. And it's
I'd always give Aaron a hard time. I'd be like, you know what? Don't get mad about anything as far as the show's concerned, because we can't be compared. Like, we are our own thing. Like, we can the entire network can interview the same person and none of them will be
interview's different.
Yeah, everyone will be different, like you were saying, because of all these different personalities. So that with us, I always feel comfortable now after that initial part, because it was like something that I didn't ask for. I wasn't trying to be on a podcast, or
I wasn't either.
I wasn't down with like talking about my personal life, right. And like, I'm like, oh my God, what an invasion. And I had to get over all of that head trippy stuff, but now it's like anybody, like, yeah, that's rad. Like, I love when, especially Andy Frasco, like if he interviews somebody that we interview, I love to listen to that, because I love to hear his perspective and his way and what he pulls out of them. So it's really
neat. That's still an ongoing joke with her. At one point, she actually said, "I don't have anything to say." And we're like, "What?
Jesus Christ!
What are you talking about?" And then voice has been found.
Yeah.
So.
Do you find that with your thing, like over time, the way that you approach your podcast has changed? Do you feel like the mission of it has altered since you first started?
Yeah, it's interesting. Like talking about the Helping Friendly podcast, the Phish podcast I do. I mean, yeah, I think it has. And I think it's interesting because there's 4 of us who do it, and not like you guys are really consistent with who's there. Like we have 4 people who are involved, but it's like any episode could have any combination of the 4 of us, because usually all 4 of us can't make it. So we've had this ongoing discussion about like, are we becoming too professional, or are we too like polished? Is it like because we're sort of trying to, and it gets back to this like authenticity, like we're trying to like make things a little bit more digestible, or at least like, not ramble and whatever, like which we do, right?
Totally.
And it's interesting because I think what I've come back to, just based on like the Apple podcast reviews and stuff, is like people are like, this is a really unique place to get Phish perspective, and it's like, it's because of the hosts. It's like why people listen to your show. It's not because we like do something cool with the production, or we include music at the beginning, middle, or end, or none. It's like people tune in to hear us talk. Which,
so why would you want to cut that down?
Right.
Yeah, exactly. and I keep going back to that. And it's sort of like, there's this sort of like, we've talked about this. There's best practices and data and like the podcast world that are like, 90 minutes is like about the max that you should put out. Right. And many of us just simply can't adhere to that. And that's part of the authenticity, I think but as long as people keep coming, like if we saw our numbers drop dramatically, it'd be like, oh shit, we better do something differently. Yeah. But I think our numbers would drop more if people thought that we were like trying to fit into some sort of mold. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I'm a little more mindful on our podcasts about what we say, because I know that people from the music world are listening, and we still will say like Trey was playing too many notes, or like Mike looked like he was like kind of pissed off the whole time, or whatever. Like we'll still say what we think, but it's a little bit more like, oh shit, there's actually people listening.
Yeah, people are going to hear
I feel
this.
like that too,
yeah.
RJ, a lot. I feel like I can't say
not 100%.
Yeah.
No.
Because it's my opinion, and so I don't want my opinion to hurt someone's feelings. That's not fair, like if somebody listens to the show and when that, just because maybe I had a shit day and it was my bad attitude through my ears, so like for that sake, I'll hold my authenticity just a tiny bit.
But I get what
it's tough.
I get what you mean though about polished. I get that because Jesus, going back and listening to our first episode to now, like we've made adjustments. We've adjusted through this. Like recently we started doing all the commercials at once instead of cutting in between and playing music or
you were playing music and then you weren't playing.
Yeah. Or like, I'm trying to get everything done in under 6 minutes at the front of the show before the intro and like that kind of stuff. That makes sense. But like you said, man, that without you and the other 3 people on your show, there is no Helping Friendly podcast. It doesn't exist. Anybody can go stream Phish anytime they want, right? They're tuning into you guys. So that's the thing that they want to hear. They want to hear the interplay between the hosts. And that's the thing for me. And I know you're like this too. Like the podcasts that I listen to, I rely on those hosts for that relationship. There's a real relationship there.
Yeah, totally.
And so that's like when we get into the 40-minute intros and I'm about to hit, publish, and I'm like, fuck, they're going to have to sit through 45 minutes of us talking about Darwin's farts. Okay, I'm going for it.
But that's what they signed up for.
Yeah.
People love. Yeah, we've gotten that feedback too that people love. I'm sure you. I mean, we all have. You try to bounce questions off your audience. Like, give us feedback. Tell us what you want to hear. We don't get a whole lot, but what we do is positive. Like, just keep doing what you're doing. We love what you're doing. That is what we
get. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the best feedback to get. Keep doing what you're doing.
And you know, on the heady part of like your Phish, reviews and stuff like that, I know for me, like when you when you're really into something, you want to be heady about it. You want to like people who play guitar, they love to know about, fretboard and what, like they want to. Yeah. There's got to be a place for that, So if like you're like one of like the biggest Phish, podcasts, and it can't be, it's not heady, like that's where it should be heady. It fits there.
It's totally true. And we've had this conversation a lot, and this is getting in the weeds of like podcasting, but 2 to 3 hour shows are like, it's a question mark, right? Like, do you lose people after the first hour? I don't know. Probably some, but maybe. Like, do the majority of your listeners want the full experience? Probably, right?
I'm not walking out at set break.
Well, and if it's 3 hours, you don't have 3 hours right at that time, you come back. You bounce back to it and finish it over 2 or 3 days.
So it wouldn't be No Simple Road if I didn't ask, like, what was your first Phish show, RJ?
Oh man. Well, thank you for asking. I actually, in thinking about this show, I started thinking about my Dead history, which I want to just tell you about briefly because I had a funny memory about that. But my first Phish show was October 28th, 1995 at the Palace of Auburn Hills outside of Detroit, Michigan. I'm from Northern Ohio, so all my first shows were like Detroit, Ann Arbor, like Michigan. My first concert was the 9 Inch Nails at the Toledo Sports Arena in 1993, which scared the shit out of me. I was
that was
fucking
gnarly.
terrified.
Yeah.
Wow.
I was like 14, and my brother took me, who was older. Man, fucking terrifying. But yeah, so I saw Phish in 95, and up to that point, I had been a big tape trader. Collected a lot of tapes. I still I continued. By the time I saw them, I probably had 100 tapes. Like I
so you
was collecting a lot of tapes.
You already knew what was up. You were okay.
Yeah, I think starting in 94, I started collecting tapes, and by the time I stopped collecting tapes, I had like 600 tapes. And one of my quarantine activities with my kids was to take all of my tapes, which I still had, and I color coded all the J cards by year.
Oh my god.
Like the same design with the Phish logo, and I just wrote the set list on them. And I had all my kids take all of the J cards out because they were color coded by year and throw the tapes out. So now I have this pile of like, different colored J cards with my handwriting on them for every show that I'm going to use as some sort of wallpaper thing in my next office
How
studio
fun.
thing, which is going to be in some house that I don't know yet because we're currently homeless.
Oh.
But,
Sitting out there marinating.
yeah, but the Dead, it's interesting because I was a Dead fan before I was a Phish fan, and still to this day, like if I had to take a band, like I would take the Dead because it's so approachable, you know, like Phish is like, as you guys know, there's like a little bit of like an on-ramp to Phish, you know, it's proggy and
That's a nice way to put
took
it.
me a
An
long
on-ramp.
time to find
You
that
know?
on-ramp.
yeah, exactly. Like the Dead is like, you listen to Jack Straw, like, yeah, it's great. It's Americana, you know?
Got it. I'm in.
I remember like my friend, you know, sophomore year in high school or something, and we would all go to his house after school and we'd smoke bongs in his garage, and he played Without a Net all the time, and that was like around the time when that came out. And it's funny because it's not the kind of Dead that I listen to
Right
now. Like I don't listen to early 90s Dead, but I remember listening to Without a Net a lot, and I was like wow, this is cool. It was sort of like you go through the classic rock thing and you learn about the Beatles and Led Zeppelin and the Stones and whatever current pop music is happening at the time. And then like you like introduced to this other world and you're like, holy shit, this is crazy.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Which I feel like was a huge discovery for me. I'm sure you guys all have your own like experiences with that. But once you discover this, like it felt like discovering another world of music, you know? With the Dead,
and it was
Phish.
kind of hidden. It wasn't out there. Me and Aaron, this is like Pink Floyd, The Doors. We grew up on that, taking psychedelics in high school, all that, everything. Dead, we kind of heard the name, and you heard some songs.
Trucking.
Trucking.
Yeah.
And more of their like kind of country-ish stuff. That's how I always looked. You know, it was kind of like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, they're slow and
Weird country
old.
band with skeletons.
It's like dad rock, and then once you discover that. It's not the same ever again.
You know what though?
Yeah.
You brought up the on-ramp to Phish, and it took me. I mean, like, I remember when Picture of Nectar came out.
Mm-hmm.
I remember driving in my VW van, listening to Picture of Nectar, and fast forwarding past the vocals, and getting to the jam because I was just a diehard Deadhead at the time, and like I never had been to a Phish show. It just didn't compute, but the jam computed for me. That made sense.
That's interesting.
Yeah, and so
we were in the same boat. I couldn't stand Trey's voice,
and it wasn't until
lovely.
It wasn't until Fare Thee Well that him and I both were like,
saw him live.
Oh shit!
We saw Trey live up on that stage, and we're like, okay. And we joke about that because you listen back; those weren't the best recordings and the best. You know, it was something very special.
It was very special.
There, sounded amazing. But you listen back, it's like, ooh.
But we went after that
to the Forum
in LA and saw them, and like looking back now that I know Phish, like we got a Slave to the Traffic Light, a Yem, and my friend, or Carini that night, and
nice.
And when we left, like the lights came on after Yem, and I looked at Apple and I was like, we fucking blew it. 30 we
years.
missed 30 years of this shit.
Time to start catching up. But that's also
awesome.
what was awesome too, because me and Aaron have always been in the Dead. Mel got into Phish the same way we did.
Well, I didn't go to that show.
You didn't go to that show, but you were at Fare Thee Well and saw. You didn't get as hooked as we were. But then Phish, once we knew after going to Forum.
Well, like Aaron would try to show, like
Mel's got to go to a Phish show, and when we finally got her to one, boom,
he would try to like play it on the on whatever, and I just was like, he sucks. Like because I love lyrics and I love a nice voice because I grew up on R&B. So I'm like, what is this? Is no like, Johnny Gill. This isn't, but I didn't understand that music at all. That was not where I came from. I was into hip hop and R&B and pop music and even country music and Spanish music and like, but not Grateful Dead. Like that, I didn't, it was not on my radar. So like, anyway, the Phish thing, I just went to the Gorge. That's all I needed to go to the Gorge.
Yeah.
That was
to witness that party until you've seen
that's all you need.
Until you've seen firsthand like the just, I mean, the glow in the dark necklace waterfall that happened. I mean, just so many things that happen, and to actually see their camaraderie on stage, the funniness and shit that happens, and playing a vacuum cleaner. I mean, it's all the things they do. It's like, whoa.
But what the point of all that? What do you think the on ramp is? What is the on ramp, RJ?
I do want to say about Fare Thee Well that, I mean, Trey is like he's been a student of the Grateful Dead his whole life, you know, and he practiced, I know for sure, like he practiced like crazy.
Oh yeah,
for that,
I read articles.
Like that was the gig of a lifetime, you know. And of course, everyone always wants to be making their own music, but I think he showed up in a great way. It wasn't like, just play these Jerry solos. He was like, I'm going to learn this music for real, you know. And
I just wish they had more time. Really cool. I think I wish they had more time to gel as a band. It wasn't
totally
bad music. It was just guys that haven't been playing together for a long time.
Of course, I mean, and with all those different musicians who had never played before together. Right. I mean, I don't go back to it a lot, but I go back to see like the videos of Trey beaming, getting to like sing and play Scarlet Begonias. You know, it's like. That kind of shit's fucking once in a lifetime.
Yeah. Well, that's what we saw. Rad. The look on him, getting to see him, like the look on that man's face when he's in the zone or being loving, appreciative, whatever. You see it comes through with Trey. It's like, whoa, what is this?
Yeah, he definitely beams.
Yeah.
Sure.
I mean, I think so. The On Ramp to Phish to me, like Rift to me is the best album. I mean, the album that came out a couple weeks ago is pretty phenomenal, but we'll have to give it time to percolate. But I think it's really, really stunning. I mean, Rift is just such a great, perfect mix. You know, there's the goofiness, there's the musicianship, there's good lyrics, there's like a story. It's a, you know, kind of a narrative weave together. Like to me, that's the On Ramp. Is like, if you're an album person, that's the one Phish album that may make you think like, okay, these guys can make an album, you know, especially because it's like a concept album, you know, but with like the requisite Phish goofiness, you know, lengthwise, and like there's a bunch of goofy shit in there, and Mike Gordon songs, and I think that's great. I mean, a live one is also like kind of amazing. Like over the years, I've been surprised by how many people were introduced to the band via a live one, which makes sense. It's, I think, their best-selling record by a lot. Which is sort of interesting and maybe not that interesting given that they're like a live band, but you know, it has like great live versions of a bunch of their like most popular songs. So,
right.
You know, that's a good on ramp, but if you're trying to like understand what they're like as a band, I think Rift is the ultimate.
Yeah. This new album, we've been saying it over and over again lately. Like I'm stunned. I'm like literally speechless with what happened.
Me too.
That kind of magic, I haven't seen that since the Dead, since back in the late 80s, early 90s. Like that, the level of synchronicity with world events and my emotional state, and then a band can just narrate right perfectly.
Yeah. And those are almost all Tom's lyrics, you know, which is just so amazing, you know, all except one of those songs are Tom's lyrics. So his lyrics have matured in a way that, like, not that they were immature before, but life-wise.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like you can tell that it's written by a person who's lived a life, you know?
Yeah.
Wow.
Anyway, I'm really impressed by it. And I listened to it today earlier. I woke up, like, you know, there's nobody downstairs, and I just blasted that album, and it was a beautiful feeling, you know.
So I think I've asked you this on a call, but like, what's the goal for Osiris? Like, since you have a magic wand,
I do.
Yeah. Since you have one, what are we doing, man? Where are we going?
Well, I mean, so our goal is to create the go-to music media network. Like that's my goal, you know, and that involves podcasts, video, live events. When people think I'm a fan of a musician, how do I find out more? I want them to think about Osiris, and that's not like, Jambase, our media partner, is awesome for finding out where to go see people, reading more about them, articles. Like, we're not trying to go there. What we're trying to do is, like, if I want to learn about Billy Strings, like, I should be able to go to Osiris and find a few interviews with Billy Strings, I want people to think about us for in-depth
Like an
information and
encyclopedia.
conversations with musicians. And I think we're getting there.
Yeah.
But we also, I mean, the business side of it is like, and we've talked about this, like, we have to get beyond what all of us are familiar with, which is like the broader jam scene. But you get to people like MC Taylor, and I've talked to Ezra Koenig from Vampire Weekend, and you kind of like start to, I view it as like concentric circles, and we have bluegrass, right? We have the Avett Brothers, we have the String Dusters. Like, we need to get to the point where, like, you guys are talking to Lizzo about
which she's on my list because Lizzo,
that's Mel's
Sydney.
jam right
Well,
there.
Sydney was in Lizzo's breakout music video.
Yeah, our daughter was in that video.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah,
Well,
she
so
was
that
in
I just
Truth
used that
Hurts.
example randomly, but make it happen.
Yes.
I want to talk to Snoop Dogg too.
Snoop Dogg
course.
has always been on my list. Lizzo,
he would be great.
Yeah,
Chong.
yeah.
Tenacious D. I'm going down the list now.
Oh yeah, we've thrown out actors and stuff too. Jared Leto is another one. Musician, actor, everything. There's a lot out there that we'd love to.
You should have Woody Harrelson on.
Oh my
He's
gosh,
like, he can
yes,
tell
I
you about
love
his
him.
crazy COVID conspiracies, but also talk about being awesome at playing the drums and smoking weed. Like,
he would definitely be a fun one.
There's a little bit of everything. The Disco Biscuits had Snoop Dogg at Camp Bisco several years ago, and I think.
All right.
Anyway,
we'll talk.
We should think about that.
Yeah.
So that's my goal. I want people to come to Osiris to try to find out more about the musicians they love, and I think we can get there. It's building a startup is a hard process and a long journey, but that's my goal.
RJ, I'm going to dedicate that episode to you when we get Lizzo on.
Sweet. It's awesome. Sure.
Now it's on my mind.
Oh, good. Now you've done it. I agree 100% with everything that you said. When we started this, like, there is no agenda with it. We're just meeting the people that are interesting to us and talking to them. That's it. Like, what's No Simple Road? That's really what it is.
Yeah.
But in doing it, I realized that this is what I'm supposed to do, and what I want to do. And so there's nowhere else. Like, we don't fit anywhere else. Where the hell would we go? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Osiris is the place.
And is there a go?
No, there isn't. But I'm just saying, like, it just makes sense. And like,
I feel like we're intertwined, kind of like the Caduceus.
I'm
feel like
proud
that.
to be a part of that, and to know that, like, I don't know, that in some way we have a hand in helping build something that can, like, outlive us. You know,
something like we were talking about, something to me about what you've done with Osiris and what we're doing, and our whole community, is the trust and the honesty that goes with it.
Yeah.
For Osiris to be a trusted name. In the music business, and for No Simple Road and stuff. It's like the thing going backstage, and there's a reason we're doing this and getting invited to the table, because one of the most flattering moments that's happened so far in this is when we went to Skull and Roses and we met Dennis McNally. I mean, here's this guy who is entrenched in this whole community. He was there at the beginning. Within a few minutes of meeting him and us doing our first interview, we did it. We did it when we said we were. We wrapped up. We were respectful of everything. And he immediately looked at us as this, like, carte blanche. You guys do whatever you want. You can go wherever you want.
Awesome.
He said,
I trust you. You're not going to bother musicians. You're not going to get in the way. And I think that's what that's obviously what we are all about.
Can I have your autograph?
He didn't understand what we were doing, and I don't think we did either, but we knew we wanted to create we knew we wanted to create an experience of the
event, not
Right.
just get behind stage to talk to Melvin Seals, you know?
Yeah, to be able to say we did that.
So he didn't know us like that, and he certainly didn't listen to our podcast. So him welcoming us in, I think within the first few minutes that we all met, we all fell in love with each other.
Yeah.
Like we loved Dennis loved us, we loved his sweet little wife.
Friends, yeah.
Yeah, we just
Like Tom.
His wife was
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
she was so stoked when we wanted to interview Dennis. He's kind of like, no, you don't want to talk to me, and she's like, yes, thank you, please talk to Dennis, sit him down, ask him
That's
questions. The man wants to do it.
Well, he
He's just-
said at the end of Skull and Roses, like it was the last day, and we were kind of backstage, and he pulled me aside and he goes, I want you to know something. In 30 plus years of doing this thing, you are the first media that's kept their word with me.
Wow.
I was
What's
like,
that?
holy
That's-
shit. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, and you told me that, and I was like, we're media?
And then we're just like, oh, that's right. Highly
Yeah,
trained
yeah.
professionals. We do this all the time. Thank you.
That's incredible, though.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was a really cool moment. And that's I feel that same way about being part of this thing. I really, really do. I'm not just saying that because we're fucking done.
Yeah, yeah.
It's finally we do
Appreciate
get to
that.
tell each other that,
Yeah.
because we don't really get to see each other and like have
No.
this is awesome. But yeah,
Yeah.
like you helped to shape our life since we've moved up here, and
It's a
it
huge
in
deal.
a beautiful way, which none of us would have ever thought. And I am grateful for you and Osiris and Jonathan too, because he's a huge part. Like he's like the link, you know, and
Yeah.
he's doing
Yeah.
his own awesome, really dope stuff. So
Yeah.
man. Thank
Thank you.
Yeah, like I love that we met our family on the East Coast.
Yeah.
I know.
really do.
And we were gonna. It was
This
gonna
was gonna
happen.
be the year.
It was going to happen. It was going to
It was
happen.
gonna happen.
This
No,
was
it
the year
wasn't.
for a lot of things, but yeah.
Well,
It's just
the,
on
the
hold.
October thing last year, which was definitely going to happen, and then it just couldn't because
Yeah.
Circles didn't.
Oh.
Yeah.
You know, it just
Oh.
that was really like
How did that affect
I was
you,
ready.
RJ? Like, what did you like? Were you a Neil Casal fan, or did
Yeah,
you? Yeah,
I
He
mean,
had just
I
talked
talked
to
to
him.
him a bunch about a project he wanted to do about like a podcast idea he had about musicians who were also photographers, and he had like he was like, you know, I could talk to like Nikki Sixx from Motley Crue, who is apparently a big photographer, and you know he rattled off like 5 or 6 people, and you know Kevin connected us, and I talked to him on the phone a few times, and it was like July, August of last year, you know, and he was like, yeah, I should. And I was like, just do a couple of conversations, do 1 or 2 pilot interviews. Let's just see what they sound like. And then we can like, you know, do whatever from there. And that was, you know, he was like, yeah, next time, you know, when I go back out on tour in August and September, like I'll do that. It'll be great. And, you know, like, you know, I didn't know him, you know, I'm sure you guys feel the same way. Like I didn't know him like a lot of people knew him, but that was hard. I was in LA with Tom at the time that day that I found out that he died. And man, I was like, it kind of fucked me up for a while.
Yeah, you and
know,
I had
RJ,
talked about
I was
it.
in LA
Yeah.
too, and it fucked me up. Aaron texted me. I was in LA with my
Yeah,
daughter.
I remember him telling me that. Yeah.
And it was just weird. I was like,
Yeah.
what? But nuh-uh. Like, what? Like,
Yeah.
it just didn't make sense.
Yeah,
It didn't make sense. None of it made any sense.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
2 days after playing one of the biggest stages in
Yeah,
music. That's just
exactly,
like, wow.
exactly.
He hit his home run, dude.
Well, and then, you know, to find out that like, you know, he had been like thinking about that for a long time, and, you know, everyone goes through different things in their lives, of course, but man, it's intense.
It's
and
gnarly.
now Circles Around the Sun is, you know, like
Killing it.
they're killing it. I got to talk to Adam a couple of weeks ago in DC before this all went down, and it was interesting to hear him talk about the evolution of that band since that happened. You know, I know you guys have talked to him.
Yeah.
But not since
It's,
then,
Not
though.
since-
We have
well,
not.
we talked to him at the show here.
We did an
outside
interview. Yeah,
a
we-
little bit,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, well, catch up with him again.
Yeah.
He's got some good perspective on what happened, you know,
Okay.
since. But anyway,
Yeah,
I wanna
but
end-
we
I
will-
want to end on a sad note.
no,
No,
we
that's-
will end up this year. Something is going to happen. I
Something's
feel
gonna
like
happen.
I feel like
I just need to sit on the porch. Like it's
Oh, RJ, it's so
Anytime.
gorgeous
it's an
right now.
inevitability.
the
It's
sun
gonna
is
happen.
shining, the birds are chirping. No,
Yeah.
you know what, man? I just in my heart of hearts pray
In my
Oh Lord, no.
heart, you're in praise.
There's got to be shows this year. That's all. That's it. That's as far as I'm going to go. It just has to be shows.
I hope you're right.
He just wants you to tell you
No,
that.
just tell me there's going to be shows, RJ.
Well, that's what I keep saying. It's like there's going to be
I will not do that.
There's going to at least we're going to be able to. I'm hoping it's same thing. Hoping we're going to at least be able to go to the smaller venues and start seeing
you're gonna
live
stand
music.
6 feet from nobody.
Seeing
RJ, I
big festivals
appreciate you spending quiet time that you rarely get
Yeah.
to spend with
It's
us
been
and
awesome.
hang out. Thank you.
So hang on. I'm going to show you the
Fantastic.
porch. Hang on a second.
Okay. All right.
No, what? So right now they're all in the other room eating and stuff. Did you tell them like you need to give Dad's doing professional business?
Yeah. My wife put them to bed probably about a half hour ago. So it's
okay.
probably, I'm gonna walk out to an actually quiet evening.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It's a little after 8 there.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
There's Dar.
Darwin. Hey, Darwin.
All right.
He's like,
what are you doing?
What's going on here? Yeah. Hey, listeners. I want to tell you about the April-May 2023 issue of Relics magazine. Features a Dave Matthews Band cover story with additional articles and interviews with The National, Graham Nash, Wayne Shorter, ALO, Ivan Neville, our friend Eric Krasno and Stanton Moore, Marty Stewart, and much more. Check out the latest version of Relics and subscribe now at relics.com/DMB. Thanks, Relics. Oh, nice.
It's got to adjust to the glare out there.
I see the...
There's all kinds of...
Nice. That's
Okay,
good. That's a worn. That's a well-worn table.
Okay, yeah. There's some greenery.
Nice. Yeah.
It's
We
funny-
got it.
It's funny too. Right up there, we're at the top of the ivy. Melanie started building a bamboo fence
yeah.
because there's a retirement home that's been being built for years behind us. Well, now it's
Okay.
fully open. So Mel's
They're
a lot of times
nosy
is out there doing
neighbors.
yoga and dancing. So
Uh-huh.
she's like freaking peeping toms over there, like old men, like coming
Literally.
staring over. They like stare like, hey,
That's
what
it.
are you
And
doing?
I know his name. His name is Gerald, and his wife's name is Heidi. And
That's
he
awesome.
freaking peeps on me because he's like, I'm the only one that comes out here.
Well, you're attracting peeps, so that's cool.
Yeah.
I mean,
Wow.
So we're building a wall.
Yeah.
I built a wall.
And we're making Gerald pay for it.
it's the best. It's the best solution for a lot of problems.
I love you, man. Thanks, RJ.
Good to talk to you guys.
Yeah.
Thank you
You
for
too,
having me
RJ.
on.
You
It was an honor.
Yeah, us
you
too,
guys.
man.
Yeah.
This is great being able to see each other's faces.
I know, too,
Yeah.
RJ.
Yeah, nice to see
so
you
good
guys.
to see your face.
All right.
Yeah, it's
man.
nice to see
Go
you guys.
enjoy time with your wife.
Peace,
All
brother.
right.
Or whatever.
Talk to you
Peace out.
soon.
All right, bye.
Later.
Bye, guys.
Cute. Oh, look at these.
Like twisting, turn the mission, turning this to journey. Wish the word is many problems, but it's a burden. Felony just been deferred, and hella means been the earth, and alchemy can bring the birth, the melody of a newborn. So persistent, so resistant, so insistent, so commitment, so resilient, or haven't you learned it? More simple road. My windshield is shattered as I focus through the spot in the corner that is still intact. The react is both a defense mechanism as well as a fear. We've traveled this road before, so we may think, but it's a tad bit of strange similarities that feed an A equal A complex. The fears of your past do not equal the perplexities of the current road.
Hello out there. Yes, hello out there, everyone. I'm Hal Schwartz.
And I'm Flynn McLean. Together we host None But the Brave, a podcast dedicated to the music and career of Bruce Springsteen.
Bruce and E Street Band are on tour right now for the first time in 6 years, and we're taking a detailed look at what's happening on stage in our bi-weekly episodes.
We've also been recently joined by some very exciting guests, including rock journalist Warren Zanes and Stephen Hayden, Backstreet's magazine founder Charles Cross, and Barstool's Kirk Minahan.
If you're a diehard Springsteen fan, this is the show for you.
So please subscribe to None But the Brave on your favorite podcasting platform, and we hope to see you further on up the road.
Thank you so much. We'll be seeing you.